Hey everyone, I thought I would just make a quick video to demonstrate the type of mouse and on-screen magnifier that I use. I have low vision, I have Stargardt's disease, and I work on the computer all day. I'm a multimedia developer, and this has made my computer using experience so much easier, and I mean I wouldn't be able to work on a computer all day without this. So I'll quickly show you guys a little demo of how it works, and then I'll go into more details if you guys are interested, so stick around and find out the details. So it's a mouse that has a thumb button on it, and when you click it, it brings up an on-screen magnifier, and you click it again, and it turns off. And you can then hold the button and roll your mouse wheel, and that changes the magnification level, and it'll save the magnification level that you last set it at. So if you want to keep it at 2 times, every time you turn on the magnifier, it'll remain at 2 times magnification. And you can also click the thumb button and then move your mouse pointer, and that'll resize the lens. So if you wanted a bit of a smaller lens, you could do that, and then again it saves your settings, so every time you turn it on, it'll have your lens that size. Myself, I actually like to have it fully zoomed in and full size lens, just because, like a lot of people with Stargardt's disease, I can see the website in general, but I just need some more detail when I go to read things, for example. So if I was going to be looking at this menu up here, I know there's a menu up here, so I like to have no magnifier in my way, and then if I want to read the menu, just click the thumb button, scroll through the menu options. Oh, I want downloads. Okay, then I get rid of the magnifier, and then I can quickly scan the page again and say, okay, I'm looking for mice. It looks like here's an area of list of mice. Turn on the magnifier, and I can zoom in and start looking at the mice. So that's just a quick demo of how it works. So now I'll go into detail on how you guys could find it. So actually, if you just Google Microsoft mice and then go to the Microsoft, oh, that was this one, Microsoft accessories website. And then under filters, all you want to do is filter and choose mice that have programmable buttons. So that'll show us mice that only have programmable buttons. And so here's an example of the mouse that I am using as I'm making this video. So basically it's a mouse that has a couple extra buttons. There's one here and there's one on the other side too, that you can click with your thumb. And you actually download the driver software for these mice, and you can program every button on the mouse to do something in particular. And all I do is program this thumb button to turn on the Windows magnifier. So if you were going to buy one of these mice, you would also then go to the download section, and there's 2 different types of drivers you can use for it. There's the mouse and keyboard center, or there's the IntelliPoint. And I'm using the IntelliPoint on my system here. I'm running Windows 7, and I find that one is just a little lighter. It doesn't have all the extra options that I don't need because I'm just using the mouse. I don't have a special keyboard. So I will show you guys actually the software. So it is called, well, once it's installed, it's called Microsoft Mouse, and it's a really simple software. So all it has is an example of all the buttons on the mouse and a drop-down menu that you can customize their functionality. So I have my thumb button set to magnify. If I wanted to change it, to do something else, to be my browser back button or anything I want, you can set it. So it's not particularly a mouse for people with low vision, but it is a very helpful mouse for people with low vision. It also has some pointer options, so you can set things up. Like I have my mouse pointer set up to be inverted, so when it's over a white color, it'll be black, and if it's over a black color, my mouse pointer will turn white, just so it's easier to see. And you can change it so you have trails that follow behind your mouse and all kinds of options like that. And one thing I will mention too is that I'm running Windows 7 basic theme, and if you are running Windows Aero themes, which most Windows 10 computers will come shipped with it set up that way, and so will Windows 7. I find the magnifier just doesn't work quite as well, so I'll show you a quick example of that. So if I switch over to an Aero theme, you'll see now when I use the magnifier, it's just not quite as responsive. It's a little choppy on screen when I move it around, and when I turn it off and on, it takes just maybe that half a second longer, but even just that much time makes it less usable for me. So I like to stick with a basic theme that I have set up, and then that way it's really snappy. If I want to just quickly look up here and be like, oh, I want to see the weather, click on that, get rid of the magnifier. come down here, I can see, okay, here's all the days of the week. If I want to see what it's going to be like tomorrow, I can just quickly zoom in and see that. Yeah, that's not a joke, minus 19. What else was I going to mention? So the reason I find this mouse so helpful is that unlike Zoomtext or the built-in Windows magnifier, it's not always on screen. So with Zoomtext, you would have something like this, and it's a magnifier lens that's always in your way. And if you want to turn it off, you'd have to, go down to your taskbar and then click Zoomtext and then click to turn it off. Whereas this, I can just quickly turn it off and on with my thumb button, and I find it so much more usable. And with the Windows built-in magnifier, I'll show you a demonstration of that, I guess. If you just push the Windows button on your keyboard and plus, it'll bring it up. So with this docked version, I mean, this works, I guess, okay as well, but it takes up a lot of your screen, which I find not really useful when you are doing things like reading articles or working in a software where there's all kinds of menus and buttons and things that you're looking for. So I just downloaded I copy and pasted some text here just to show a quick example of how I would use this on a day-to-day basis. So, for example, this text that I pasted here in this article, it has the word Stargardt over and over, but not Stargards. So let's say that I wanted to go through and edit that and add the apostrophe S. Rather than having a magnifier up in my way and having to go through and find every instance of this word, I can kind of visually scan the page and see that every time there's the red squiggly underline, that is a word misspelled. So I can just zoom in on that quickly. I can get the detail of exactly where to put my cursor and add the apostrophe S. I can zoom back out, see there's another version of the word here, add the S. I can see there's another couple ones down here, or 3 more down here. So that's just an example of how I think it's easier to use rather than having this up and in my way all the time. And I use it for other softwares too. Like, so for example, this is a 3D software that I use for work, and I was just messing around drawing some other shapes here. But if I want to come over here, I know that the menu's over here, so I can quickly just turn on my magnifier, and if I want to draw a box, I can quickly choose box and turn off my magnifier, so it's out of my way, and draw my box or whatever I need to do. And if I need to come back and choose a sphere, I can quickly come over here, see where sphere is, click it, turn off my magnifier. Whereas if I was using Zoomtext, it's always in your way. I'd have to go over here, click box, and then I'm still zoomed in and I'm trying to draw a box, but I can't really see the whole screen. So that's just a good example for how I think this is so much better than using the Zoomtext or the Windows built-in magnifier. One thing I did notice that I'll share, it's a bit of a glitch, is that some things, especially user interface menus, don't show up on the magnifier. For example, if I wanted to change the highlight color of this text, and if I wanted to come up here and click on this drop down so I can choose the color, as you can see, it shows all the colors, but if I zoom in, it shows that those menu choices are not there. So just a bit of a glitch. I don't know why that happens. I notice it happens in this 3D program as well. If I right click for this menu, if I use my magnifier, it shows that there's actually no menu there. So I don't know why that happens exactly. Something to do with the graphics layer, but anyhow, that's something that you just have to live with. I'm not even sure if Zoomtext would show things like that, so it might not be unique to this Microsoft magnifier. So that is about all I have for this magnifier. One other thing I was going to mention is just a tip for using the computer with low vision is a Google Chrome extension I have, this Google Reader extension, this little R button up here. So if you use Google Chrome as your browser and then go Google extensions and look for this Google Reader one, I find it so much easier for reading articles. So if we just Google a news article here about Stargardt, let's say. So India's first visually impaired athlete running against all odds. So once the article is on screen, you can then come up here and just click the R button. And what it'll do is it strips out everything else on the website except for the text, and sometimes it includes the images. It looks like it didn't in this case. And then you can change the font size down here. So I either have the font size about this size and I use my magnifier to read, or I can just come down here and jack up the font size to the largest. So I find that so much easier for reading articles and things online. It just makes your life a lot easier rather than having to do the other option, which would be holding your control button on your keyboard and rolling your mouse wheel up to increase the font size. But then I find, it just makes the website so much less usable because then you have to scroll sideways to be able to find things. So just another tip that I thought I would share. So I hope this video helps some people. I know I've mentioned this mouse to